So this year I got to be head steward and cellar master. So I was in charge of making sure that all the bottles were labeled and ready to go, and I handed them out to the stewards. And I was fortunate enough this year to have help, which is greatly appreciated.
And I'm the organizer. I do like 90% of the behind the scenes work. Basically anything that involves the submission process and behind the scenes work.
My experience judging at Mead Stampede was awesome. It was my first time getting to judge any competition formally, and it was my first time getting to meet all of the people I've known for 2 years. So it's a great experience, a lot of good meads, a lot of fun.
My first mead award ever was actually at Mead Stampede. As a beginner mead maker, it felt really good to start off with that blue ribbon from here.
The bottles came in, I walked in the door and you gave me a job to do right away. And so we were just lining up the bottles. And then after that, they got taken to the back room, relabeled, so we didn't know what was what.
So when your mead lands in front of a judge, one of the judges will open it, inspect the bottle, make sure that it's not damaged, your name isn't written on it or whatever. You generally start off with the non-taste portion of the judging. So what does this look like? Is it clear? What color is it? What kind of aromas do you pick off of it? Following that, we'll taste it, and before we hand in our sheets, generally there's a very small discussion of what the judges who judged that brew discovered.
You know, we had a process, like an onboarding with the judges, kind of give them the overview of how things work, tasted through some examples like the night before, and everybody seemed to catch on really quickly. Like I said, we've got 10 or so experienced people in addition to the 5 new ones. So part of the process on my end is making sure that people are being paired up with somebody who's experienced, right? If it's your first time judging, your first round you're getting paired with somebody who was here from the start. Your second round, you're probably getting paired with at least somebody who was here last year. And so you're always with somebody who's got some experience. And I think it worked out really well. They caught on really quick, and it seemed to go really nice.
It was very intimidating until I met people and got some test judging under my belt, and it feels very second nature, like we all somehow already know each other.
It's definitely the most beginner-friendly competition that I've ever been involved with, and we really try to focus on giving great information and as much advice and tell people as exactly as we could what we were experiencing and what we thought would make their beverages a better product.
The 2 stewards that I had were phenomenal and really helpful. They took initiative, which was great. For my end, it was a lot easier. Cellar Master this year was a little new for me, but I think it went pretty smoothly. And again, the stewards were good, and they helped out with that too. So really made my job easy.
It's not the only competition I run, and so between this and other competitions I've been running over the last 4 or 5 years, like, you start to get a process down, but it just went really smooth. 5 new guest judges on top of, I think, 5 last year, plus the core that we have.
16 judges.
Yeah, 16 judges. So 8 sets of judges, just trying to bring out bottles quick enough to keep everybody going.
There's no way I could have done that.
As a judge, it's first of all really fun to see what people submit and what their choices are. Just really focusing on the balance of the mead and just really seeing where their acid's at, where their tannin's at. Am I getting that honey character? How enjoyable is it?
So what I think makes Mead Stampede stand out from other competitions is it's got a lot of personal touches and personality behind it. I feel like that everybody who comes to Mead Stampede and puts their entries in our hands, they know that it's somebody from the community that's going to be judging it. You know, we try to give the best feedback we can. We try to make positive notes. We try to be encouraging.
It was really awesome and inspiring to come and meet all of the people who mentored me, and then to judge the judge people that I talk to every day on Discord. Judging their meads was a very humbling experience and really great experience, and it's just been a lot of fun.
You guys are doing a lot for the community, and so I'm sponsoring because it's my way of giving back to make sure that this competition can continue, so this competition can grow.
And it was just phenomenal to have the chance to get this experience, to have so many meads and to learn so much with other experienced judges. Like, I can't say enough about how fantastic it was for me to advance my judging skills.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like some really good feedback was being given. There was a lot of great conversation about the meads as I walked around. I think the way you did it was so methodical, it was really helpful.
We are such a tight-knit community. Like, jump into Discord and ask the person whose name is on your score sheet, right? And if you don't know the name, just, hey, this was, I'm looking for Jake. Oh, that's Dog Stick Fetch, right? We'll be able to point you in the right direction.
I think that Mead Stampede is super beginner friendly, and I can say that based on my own experience. I started homebrewing a few years ago, and I would give my homebrew to people, and they would say, oh, this is great, I love it.
I mean, let's be honest. Your mom and your kids and your neighbors are not going to be your best judges.
It's good to have people try your stuff that aren't in your circle, because they can be a little more objective about how things are and how things are going. And also, all of the judges here at Mead Stampede are homebrewers or homebrew tasters. They, go out and do these things all the time. So we have a lot of experience tasting things and knowing what to do to make things better.
We really try hard, like we're not rushed at all when we were judging. I really appreciated the fact that I could take as much time as I needed to really explore the mead and give the best feedback that I could.
Well, I think it was brought out at the award ceremony today, how quick you get your feedback, I think is huge, The quality of the feedback, I think, is pretty good. For somebody who's in it to learn and grow from it, I think it's a really good place to start. I think it's very user-friendly.
Some of these mixed competitions, it's 90% beer, and you may get a beer judge who's trying to judge mead, and
Yeah.
they're not always able to give really good mead feedback. We handpick judges that are successful, accomplished mead makers. A lot of them are award winners themselves. They're people who've been in the community for a long time and have, through discussions on Discord, really shown that they know what they're talking about.
Just enter. To grow as a mead maker, you need feedback from people who drink mead every day and who know the off flavors and the things that they're looking for to make your mead better. And if you're not growing while you're making your mead or brewing anything, what's the point? You'll never know how good you can get if you never grow.
You guys emphasize on focusing on what is good about this mead, and then how can we help them make that mead better. I think this does a lot for the homebrewing community itself.
When I'm judging Mead Stampede, I try to fill out that sheet as much as I can. I take my time and, I really try to pick it apart and highlight what's good and what can use some work. And I think that here, I feel like we try to do that the best we can because, again, it is a community event. We want to do the best we can for them.
My advice to a person who's at the small batch stage and brewing 1 gallons, which, by the way, I do with regularity, even though it's 3 bottles we're asking for, you should consider submitting, because the feedback here is so valuable.
When your mead's being judged, you want it to be anonymous to the judges. You don't want them to know. They want to be able to give feedback, constructively. Please don't use bottles that are obvious. I get it. I know you want to stand out, but I think it makes it harder for the judges to be willing to be critical if they need to because they know you. The anonymity is really important.
Make sure they're packaged well. Make sure good closures. We want corks. We want crown caps. Your beer bottle style caps. We've gotten some with the tea caps. Those are not the greatest seal, and they work for a lot of things, but they aren't great for long-term storage. Those do oxidize, right? You let in more oxygen, and they're more likely to leak.
Yeah, I'm gonna say one more thing, guys. This is about the process. There's a specific reason that we ask for 3 bottles. You really need 3 bottles because if you have a good mead and you only send 2, you may not make it to Best of Show because you don't have that 3rd bottle.
The most common feedback I would have is something to do with the balance of a mead.
I tasted a lot of meads that could have been wonderful if they were balanced. We had a lot that had a high acid level or a high tannin level and not the honey to back it up.
Things that can really be helped by going through and doing bench trials and tasting your own stuff, messing with it, tasting it again, and tasting other people's stuff. Things that needed small adjustments to go back through and turn them from something really good to excellent.
The other one was just making sure your fermentation gets the best start as it possibly can. Watch your temperatures, do your yeast selection on how you brew.
We had several that were miscategorized that maybe would have done really well had they been in the right categories. So I think really checking like those BJCP rules, or even just asking, where should I categorize this? And just knowing like, is this detectable in my mead? That's part of it too. Like how much is something detected and what kind of, how that affects where you categorize it.
A lot of the people that entered last year coming back this year with their improvements on their meads shows great interest within the community and improving their overall product.
Make more lactomels.
The vibes this weekend have been great. It's this bunch of people that have known each other online for a long time coming together, so it was really easy to come together and have a good time. Vibes are great. People share some really nice stuff. Homebrew, some commercial mead that's pretty expensive got shared around last night. Like, come and experience. People are willing to share some good stuff. Bring your own stuff. Ask for feedback. We'll give it to you.
I don't think I've ever tasted so many meads so far in my life. Like, it was great. Everybody brought stuff to share. I brought stuff to share. We talked about each other's meads. It was great feedback for me too, like which ones I could see which ones people really loved and were into, and which ones were like, okay, that's great.
I was amazed at the amount of people that were here today for the ceremony. That was so awesome to see. So many people here, like cheering on. Even if they weren't award winners, they were here to support Mead Stampede, and I was touched.
I didn't know what to expect, but having half the room be people that just came in for the ceremony was kind of surprising. So that was kind of awesome.
We had a really great time just partying it up and just kind of coming together for the first time in a year. Oh, dude, it was killer this weekend.
Fun and goofy, and just everybody is so happy to be here and be together.
It's been a great weekend. The vibe was awesome. Like I have nothing bad to say about it. We took over the conference room and hey, let's do it. Yeah. So it was great. I had an amazing time. Thank you.
If you are at the point where you are wondering if Mead Stampede is right for you, maybe you have small batches, dedicate some of those bottles to Mead Stampede, and then you will almost immediately be able to take that feedback and make another small batch and make it that much better.
Enter Mead Stampede 2024 because I want to taste your mead.
This community is amazing. They are talented, they are knowledgeable, and they are genuinely helpful. And meeting these people in person has been an amazing experience. It's really hard for me to even find the words to tell you how wonderful it is to be here and do this yourself.
Mead Stampede is important for giving beginners the confidence to put their stuff out in the world.
It was a lot of fun to meet some of the mead producers. If you're a judge, it's the best 3 days of drinking mead you will experience.
It's so great. The meads are great. The people are amazing, so accepting and just friendly. And it's just coming to meet up with a group of friends.
Homemade brews and various how-tos, everything from mead to roast. Bake creation, fermentation, inebriation, doing the most.